everyone, and welcome to American Scousers pre-match show. Atalanta away after a 3-0 first leg. The hopes are up. The hopes are high. I think you look at the starting 11, which we're going to talk about. John, Serzi, Kazi. We might have some others join along the way as well. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, we're live all over the place. Facebook, YouTube, IG, and stuff like that. Instagram Live. We're on there now as well. So, John, let us start with you. We have this lineup that Kazi has provided that puts everybody in their own place as opposed to the shuffle that you get from everywhere. Hello from Denmark, says, by the way, Conrad. Hello, sir. John, how do you like the apples when you look at the starting 11?
Well, we're going to be going for it. My only concern is probably getting caught out in transition because probably no defensive midfielder in Endo there to help stop attacks, but practically at this point, we kind of have no choice. We kind of have to go for it. Jota not starting, I guess someone mentioned it on the Discord. Maybe he's not as fit as we would think, for him to be starting outright 90 minutes. It does seem like a Diogo Jota game. Brian says here that Elliott didn't get the start. I see that as well. But, with a game like this where we kind of need to be pouring forward, we still need that stability, I feel. And without Endo, I feel like we're gonna be looking to McAllister and Jones, who, even though he's looked rusty, I feel like is slowly getting there in terms of the minutes. So Trent being back is absolutely excellent as well. Everyone says that we've been creating chances even more so when he's back. So I can't really complain considering the position we're in. So let's just roll, guys. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, Brian says, kind of disappointed Elliott didn't get the start. Jota is like a common question, I think. Do you just say that? Do you think that Kazi is just not ready for 90 minutes, or this is just a choice that we went with? Because what I don't like is Gakpo not being on the left, again, being shifted to the middle when we saw him come in on the left and how good he was. That's kind of like the part I don't like about it, because all week we talked about Gakpo, Jota, Mo. Do you think he just doesn't have 90 minutes and we don't want to risk things?
Yes. I also think there's a potential that he can't do 120 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's something else that the manager needs to put into his thinking. Yeah, that has to be a part of it as the manager. I wanted Jota to start at least at an hour, but there's also a part of me of where I think all of us would take 1-0 up on the hour mark, wouldn't we? I think all of us would take it right now if you offered it.
Yeah.
And then go, we'll have this in the last, we'll have Darwin off the bench and Jota off the bench for the last 30. And let's have it basically see what happens kind of thing. The one thing I'd say about the starting 11, mate, it's the strongest the team's looked since before Christmas. The strongest lineup we've played since before Christmas, probably. When did Ali get injured? Around Christmas, just before Christmas.
Probably. Is that because of the back four? I know, like Annette, for example, saying she would rather have.
Well, Robertson was out.
Robertson
got injured in November.
Back four.
Robertson got injured in
November.
Yeah, in the international break, he came back.
Yeah,
probably since the Newcastle game, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is like the strongest back five we've started since October, probably, which is insane. Like when you actually think about it, like probably November time, I think. So there is a part of that as well. So I'm excited to see it. I know I agree with what John's saying with the Endo argument, but there's no point in having a defensive midfielder, is there? Let's be fair here. You know what I mean? The only thing I'm thinking about is I'm super excited to see how Atalanta start this game. Like, what do they do? Do they want to give Liverpool early confidence and try and get on the, if they want to play like they did at Liverpool take one of the chances that they had in the first game at 0-0, which we did have. We won't forget that as well. And we go 1-0. It's like, or do they just play in their shell for 20 minutes and kill the game that way? And think, let Klopp start thinking for the weekend. And they try and kill the game by out-passing the ball, basically. Yeah. Just trying to keep hold of the ball. I'm interested to see how they play it. If I was them personally, I'd go at Liverpool in the first 20 minutes because they always give a goal up. That would be how I play it. But also, you can't give Liverpool an early goal. It's just like, it's so weird. It's such a weird way if you kind of think about it from both sides. But I'm excited, mate. Yeah, and as soon as I've seen that lineup now, I'm even more excited.
Serzi, I see you're praying big time over there. Who are you praying to have? If you picked one guy to have like the performance of a lifetime, who are you going with?
Steven Gerrard?
Yeah.
Coming off the bench.
Salah all day long.
Yeah.
We needed to play big. I'm surprised Diaz played. I would have played Gakpo on the left and played John. But I was thinking about it as Kazi was saying, voice of reason. It's true. I mean, we might be thinking of like 120 minutes. I wasn't even thinking that. I was just thinking getting the game done, and Dan's comes on and scores the winner, then we go through and happy days.
Man, I love the scenarios. Gordo, not till the fat lady sings. How hopeful are we? I mean, we talked about this yesterday, right? Was that yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. How hopeful are you now that you see the lineup? I think, like I say, the lineup we made is for the most part the lineup, right? We kind of figured we would go attacking. So you have Mecca as the 6, which is probably the most attacking 6 we will have. And Jones is in there getting a redemption. We didn't know Elliott. I know Brian was saying earlier in the comments that he's disappointed Elliott is not there. How hopeful are you, or how do you like the starting 11 compared to what we kind of built yesterday?
I think it's exactly the same, isn't it? Apart from Jota and Diaz being swapped, I'm pretty sure, and that was the lineup that I think the three of us agreed that we'd like to see the most. So this is, I'm definitely for this. This is a good strong lineup, like Kazi said, and you guys all agreed with while I was backstage. It's one of the strongest we've had in 2024. I think for sure, definitely in this calendar year, is the strongest lineup we've had. I mean, we definitely need it. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
It does worry me a little bit. I know I said it in the chat, but it does worry me that Jota doesn't start, because it tells me that there's still some ongoing injury, because he's had 2 cameos now, right? So usually you get a couple of minutes and then we see him back in the lineup. So I'm interested to see why he didn't play it. Maybe he's saving him for Jota and Nunes coming off. That speaks kind of chaos to me, which is, I guess, good news. Maybe that's what he's keeping in his back pocket, but we'll see.
I mean, I guess if you're up 1, like Kazi was saying earlier, you're going into the last 30 minutes and stuff like that, you're kind of like, putting all your chips forward and kind of like throwing in Jota and Nunez, maybe still keeping Gakpo out there and stuff like that. I mean, John, you were saying, yeah, this is probably the starting lineup, the strongest lineup we have. The concern will be midfield, but does that really depend on how Atalanta approaches the game? Do they... Yeah, Michael says chaos or desperation. Probably a bit of both, or chaos for the sake of
fine line between both. Yeah.
I mean, how do you expect Atalanta to approach the game? We talked about how they only play one way, but do they really try to keep things calm, or do they say this? We only know one way to play and go out that way.
Yeah, I think the logical choice would probably just to go how you got this lead in the first place. I mean, obviously you'd think that, that's a foolish decision if you try and go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. But if you're looking at this Liverpool team right now, it's a team that's taken a few body blows, who's kind of staggering a little bit. So we're kind of there for the taking. Now, are we really there for the taking? I wouldn't say not really, because I've been supporting this club for the longest time. I know under this manager, we've kind of, taken some really bad beatdowns and have managed to stand up and land a counterpunch to get us back in the game and actually win. So, yeah, it's more of that's the only way that they know how to play, is why I'm leaning towards this. And I think, honestly, it'll be foolish for them to kind of let us get on the ball and dictate things, because I think that's just a recipe for getting 2-0 down by halftime and then just asking for us to come back and, win the tie. So to answer your question, Tim, I think they're going to be playing the same way, which is why I'm kind of worried about us getting caught out in the counter. What I'm going to say, though, is I'm glad that the away goals rule isn't a thing anymore, because those 3 goals that they scored at Anfield is a death sentence. Imagine if they get one, with the first 15, it's pretty much done. But if they get one...
but that would help us actually right now. Like if they have 1, we have 4, we go through, as opposed to now we'll just go to overtime.
Well, you got me there. But then in terms of us not being able to score over the last few games, us getting probably a 4, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to look at the positives here, trying to believe, and I think Klopp said it before. If we're gonna lose, we got to try and lose in the best way possible, right? Going down swinging. So I sincerely hope that happens,
Michael says, based on the success at Anfield, they're going to go for it. Will be
Right.
foolish not to. Yeah, I'm assuming so too, right? Because that's what they do. But at the same time, when you come to Anfield, you can be like, hey, you know what? If you're gonna get hammered, might as well go for it. And the best way to kind of go at Liverpool or play against Liverpool is kind of like go at them. I don't. Do you think, Sergi, the score from the first game almost like eases them a little bit and feel like they don't have to go at us as hard offensively, at least?
No, I think like we keep saying, yeah, and I know it sounds corny right now, and they only know how to play one way, and they're going to go to the touchdown. That's what I said last week as well at Liverpool, and that's what they only need one goal. I think that's the mentality that they have. They just if they get one goal, it makes it that much more difficult for us. And Crystal Palace had the same game plan. They watched Atalanta and said, "All right, let's just go hell for leather. And what do we have to lose?" So I think they're going to go for it. And really, well, what do they have to lose? I mean, they're 3-0 up. If it was like 2-0 or 1-0, maybe they might have a different game plan. But 3-0, it's and with the crowd behind them, they're not at Anfield. We're really up against it. And I think that's the only way they're going to play.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest issue is the fact that we're going away as well. Gordo, I guess like the biggest concern now is the fact that we haven't scored in 3 games, and now we have to score more than 3, if you will. We have to score at least 4. Is that your biggest concern? I know John was talking about earlier, like he's worried about the fact that, we don't have as much of a defensive setup. We're kind of going all in early on. How big of a concern is that? Or are you more worried that we're just not going to get the goals we need more than defend them?
I'm looking at this optimistically because I really feel like there was definitely 2, maybe 3 saves that Dean Henderson knew absolutely nothing about. It was just positioning. There was one off his knee. There was a point blank header that he got with his hand that pushed it wide. And I'm struggling to remember. Maybe it was only 2. But on any other day, it would have been 2-1. Those go in. Yeah. So I really feel like it's not that we haven't gotten the chances, right? So all we need is 1 to go in. Like I was saying on yesterday's podcast, like when I was watching that United game, when we were 1-0 up, I kept saying, oh man, we get another one, the doors are going to open. This is going to be 5-0 or so, because we were just hammering them. It wasn't until that Bruno lucky, he gets gifted a shot, he takes it and scores, that the game kind of changed. So I really do feel like that you get that momentum going. We definitely have to score first, and we have to score early. But when I'm like thinking about this lineup, I got a question for all you guys, I guess. If you are Atalanta and you're down 2-0 at 60 minutes, are you parking the bus, or you're going to try to hit us on the counter, knowing that we have to come full force to get at least a third, and knowing that Nunez and Jota might come off the bench and cause some absolute chaos?
That's a
I love the whose phone was that? Because I just love the vibe.
Sorry, that's mine.
Let's go, guys. I'm ready.
just picking it in over that. Yeah. It's like being the DJ of the show at the same time. Like personally, I would say they would psychologically sit back. Like, there are times where teams react on the pitch different than what they normally do. And I think psychologically, when a game is a 1-0, even when you have the control, you always have those last 5 minutes, right? Because the human nature kicks in, and you kind of like start defending more, even though you were attacking all game. I would think automatically they would climb up a bit. Brian is even throwing in an extra defender if that happens for them, if they're down 2-0. I personally think that will be asking for it if it comes to Atalanta. Mm-hmm. John, what is your answer to that?
Yeah, I'd keep attacking, because I think the last thing you do is want to give us that freedom to dictate the game. Like Gordo said, as bad as the last few games have been, 1 or 2 chances come in, we're still talking about a treble, right? Like with certainty right here. Like luck just didn't fall our way. And law of averages, if you keep giving us those looks, it's eventually going to go in, which is why I'm a little bit more positive about this game, where I feel like there was just something wrong with the plumbing the last 2 games, and needed to keep the faucet on with the hope that the water is going to start pouring, and it's eventually going to pour, guys. And if there is a game for the water to start flowing in, it's this game, guys. It's this game. Come on.
Images of Jurgen Klopp with a plunger and a toilet.
Right. He's just trying to unclog the damn thing. Like, it's not working, but it is gonna work. Like, he's putting.
Meanwhile, Nunez is just like throwing different things in there to clog it up even worse. Like,
like he thinks he's helping, but he's really not. But
Nunez brushing his hair and putting the hair in the sink cup. It's like, no, we're trying to clear it. Like,
flushing wipes.
Well, Sergi, I don't know how to do a follow-up question off of that. I don't know how good you're with plumbing, but what do you make of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if they were 2-0, I'd call up Simeone and be the biggest shit houses in the world. Just completely ruin the game. Yeah, going back to what John said, I'd be more worried if we weren't creating chances. We're creating them. We're just going through a barren spell. The biggest thing is that clean sheet. We just even if we win this 2-0 and we go out, we just need a win and a clean sheet.
Right.
And just for the next game, like it is what it is. We're out. We have the lead to concentrate on, but we have to win and keep a clean sheet.
And that's the thing, we've been saying that too, right? We said this for the Atalanta game, then we said it for the Palace game. This whole plumbing network that we got going over here, eventually it's going to start flowing in. And it hasn't. I mean, is it just a matter of time, or is it just kind of like it's going to be struggles moving forward? And I guess, I'll ask you this, Gordo, because Sir Z mentioned that. What is like a result, aside from obviously eliminating, and that you would be like, you know what, that's fine, and then take it and move on? Well, you'd have to take it either way, I guess, but, take it and move on with a better mood.
I'd be happy with 2-0. I mean, like obviously you want to move on and you're not going to be happy, but I think that we could all say that what a turnaround, keeping a clean sheet away from home at 2-0 down, because if you're at any point, if you're 2-0 and you need the one goal, the pressure's automatically in our hands. And so like we'd probably in that scenario, I'd imagine we'd be pushing for that third goal. And so it just doesn't come in that scenario. So if we're 2-0 up and we're still going for a third goal and we just don't get it, I'd be happy with that.
See, that would frustrate me even freaking worse if we were up 2-0 and we couldn't just get the third one. I mean, I would almost be like more content with the 2-1, but I know that goes against the clean sheet theory. How about you, John? Like, is there a score line that you would be like, even if we're not going through, you take that as a positive and carry it over to the Premier League?
Yeah, I think 2-0 is probably the only answer here, because let's face it, as much as the offensive side of the game has concerned us, it's the fact that we haven't kept a clean sheet in months for me. So I think we just need to get that foundation in, because the thing here is, it looks like it's slipping, but I'd rather the Europa League slip all day long compared to the Premier League. So if we take something positive here, whether that's like a 5-3 or whatever, or a 4-2 or something like that, I just want to get something to bring over to the league, considering like everyone was all doom and gloom after that Palace game, and rightfully so. Like I wouldn't blame you if you thought it was over, but then there is still that sliver of hope, right? And we just need a good, kick up the ass, a good game where everything is flowing. And I think a clean sheet is probably the key to that. So it's just a 2-0 for me. It sounds cliche. I'm sticking with the majority here. So it's just a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, because, I mean, in some ways, I don't know, like, would a 4-2 be better, Gordo? Because you're like, okay, at least we're, like, kind of scoring now, and you can kind of say, well, we conceded because we went all in with, Mecca at 6 and stuff like that. I mean, that's where I really want to see these goals coming, and I think that would be the biggest thing to carry over to the Premier League more than anything else.
I think having a team that I'm pretty sure they were either 7th or 8th favorites in Europa League to go to win it is Atalanta. So if they score 5 against you, I think that everyone's smelling blood in the water. So I would not be happy with conceding another 2, even if it came at 4-2. I think that it says more about the team that they put 2 on you at least twice in a head-to-head tie at home and away. So I think that I'm still convinced that watching Everton just putter out against Chelsea, they're going to put in the the team of the season performance against us, it's going to be one of those, right? They rolled over so easy against Chelsea. I just know for a fact it's going to have to be a 1-0 win against Everton if we're going to take 3 points off them.
Yeah, I get the same sense about that, to be honest with you. I mean, at the same time, can we do a silver lining, Sergi? Because we were looking at the games yesterday, and part of us said, I mean, if they advance, they play more games and stuff like that. But then I look at people like, Bernardo Silva, I look at Arteta and stuff. I'm like, there's no freaking way I can root for these guys to win. But now, after they got eliminated yesterday, we said, well, this almost like helps them in the sense that they might be able to focus on the Premier League, get more rest and stuff. Would almost be a silver lining in a way if we do not go past today. Or are you okay with, bring on the schedule, let's just advance?
I think the silver lining came when Arsenal lost, because before that I was really depressed. So but yesterday, I think City have got it in them to put it aside, and they can still go and win the league. With Arsenal, it's not a kick in the balls for Arteta, and the fans are turning against them. And I think all things, worst case we might finish second, but I think the silver lining is like overtaking Arsenal, and as Kaiser said, whoever overtakes Man City will win the league, and that's why they are champions, and that's why they do have one of the best managers in the world. They'll get past yesterday. They've been there so many times, so they've lost out and gone out of the Champions League, so they're used to it. But winning the league is their bread and butter. So I don't think it'll affect them too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I think so too. I think it's a team that can kind of like. I don't get the same sense from Arsenal, by the way, and this will probably be something that we talk about tomorrow. But I don't think Arsenal can categorize as well as City can and say that was this is this, and stuff like that, and play accordingly. I feel like Arteta is probably losing his head right now still. So I don't think so. Go ahead, John.
I think that's why I wanted Arsenal to win. I know a lot of people wanted that tie for City Arsenal, but I would have rather had Arsenal win that game and take 3 points, all 6 points off of City in this season. So I was much more confident chasing Arsenal than I was City.
Yeah. So before we go and take our
the toughest schedule out of the three of us as well.
Yes, exactly. I mean, when we were looking at it, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, we'll take a peek tomorrow as we head into the weekend, hopefully talking about the victory today. No post-match today. Don't forget, tonight the boys will be here, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern for the Thursday night podcast, and they'll be handling the post-match duties and hopefully talking about a huge win. What will they be talking about, John? What is the scoreline? It's prediction time. What's the scoreline they're going to talk about?
5-1 after extra time. We go through.
Damn, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the extra time, but I like the score. Sir Z, what do you have?
5-2. We win on penalties.
Damn, God. You guys are like brought to you by my cardiologist. Yeah. Gordo, what do you have for?
It's so funny because even before anyone said anything, we all agreed on 2-0, and my heart went 6-1. So we were all like, yeah, we'd be happy with 2-0. And all of us were like, yeah, we'll give up a goal for sure, but we'll win this.
Yeah, I just think it's impossible that we don't give a goal up here. Seriously, the way we're set up. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think it's more about the way we're set up more than anything. I think that more than form, I'm looking at the way we're set up. It seems like too attacking to me. But you're going with the 6-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Martin says the optimism is real with this.
If we're not optimistic, why are we still alive, guys? If we're not optimistic,
I'll be a stormtrooper. I'm thinking it's gonna be like a 2-2 or something like that. And I feel like we kind of like towards the end substitute thinking about the.
Come on, Tim, you should have gone first. That's such a buzzkill, man.
Hey.
Like everyone's like 6-1.
I'll do it this way. Gordo, what is your score prediction?
5-1, 5-2 on pens, and then someone just goes 2-2. Like, come on, man.
Australia versus American Samoa rematch is 31-0. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's always hope. An early goal, a lot can happen. So it's definitely not out of the reach, but I think it's going to be more of a cautious watch, and it's good to have most of the boys back, if nothing else. So I'll let everybody run to their TVs or iPads or whatever you're going to head over to watch the game. And don't forget, we'll be back tonight with the post-match. So do join the boys then at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Hopefully talking about who we're facing next in the semifinals. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Okay.